Discover how covering her sister's shift revealed an incredible connection with a single dad CEO. Emily wiped her hands on her apron, glancing over at the clock that ticked mockingly above the diner's entrance. The familiar hum buzzed through the air as regular customers laughed and exchanged stories over steaming plates of pancakes, a comforting presence in her small Midwestern town. But today felt heavier, the weight of responsibility pressed down on her chest. Her sister's sudden illness left her feeling torn. Should she sacrifice her own dreams of culinary school for the sake of her family? Home meant everything to her, yet every hour she spent hustling behind the counter felt like one less hour spent pursuing her passion. What if she could return to school and make more than just ends meet? But dreams always seemed like fragile things, especially when they were so easily crushed under the heaviness of responsibility. She cared for her mother, working double shifts just to keep food on the table. As she took a deep breath, a familiar face walked through the door. Ryan, the CEO with a penchant for pancakes, sauntered in, his presence igniting a spark within her. Their conversations were filled with warmth and laughter, yet doubts gnawed at her mind. Could they truly connect, or was it merely her escape from an unforgiving reality? He belonged to a world so far removed from hers, one filled with privilege and ease. "You okay, Em?" Leah, the diner's cook, looked at her with concern. Emily forced a smile, but it felt hollow as she wiped down the counter. Did she even belong here in this moment? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the rush picked up, the chatter faded, replaced by the clattering of dishes and sizzling of the grill. She could feel the eyes of customers on her when she brought Ryan his regular, a stack of pancakes dripping with syrup. Whispers trickled through the diner like a slow poison. Some customers inched away from her, pondering why a girl from their town would dare dream beyond diner walls. Emily's pulse quickened as she caught snippets of their judgments. What would they think if they knew? What if this was just a game to him? A quick fling with a waitress from a small town. Each smile exchanged felt like a facade. The more they talked, the more confusion wrapped around her heart, tightening like a noose. How could she trust the glimmers of hope he offered when all she knew was struggle? Then came that fateful moment when their eyes locked across the diner, and for a split second, the world melted away. But that comfort was short-lived as she witnessed Ryan surrendering to the demands of a business call. His brows furrowed deeply, torn between his responsibilities, a mirror reflecting her own fears. Had the connection been real? Emily stood there, shaky and unsure. Would she allow her heart to leap and risk the judgment of everyone around her? As she backed away, the ache of pretending gripped her fiercely. She wanted to protect her family, but there was a part of her that desperately craved more. And just when she thought she had a handle on her life, a mysterious text dinged on her phone, drawing her gaze. With shaky hands, she opened it, her heart sinking as she read the unexpected message that had the power to shatter everything she'd just begun to believe. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she read the text. "Meet me by the old oak tree at dusk." It was from her sister's best friend, Sarah, a message veiled in intrigue but grounded in a reality she didn't fully comprehend. What could Sarah want? The knot in her stomach twisted tighter. What if it involved more details about her sister's health? The clatter of dishes around her faded as the weight of the text consumed her thoughts. She wanted to ignore it, to bury herself in work and push aside the uncertainty gnawing at her. But those few words echoed in her mind, compelling her to confront whatever awaited her. Ryan's laughter returned her focus briefly. He had just picked up his phone, likely to respond to that business call that had just interrupted their moment. Was he truly distracted by the call, or was he simply ready to move on? Did he even notice the tension she radiated? Emily finished serving the remaining patrons with mechanical efficiency, her mind elsewhere. The idea of culinary school lingered at the back of her mind, teasing her with visions of herself amongst peers who shared her ambition. Did she have the courage to claim that future? Each passing moment was a reminder of how far away those dreams felt, especially when wedged between family responsibilities and her diner life. As the last customer left, she quickly wiped down the counter, allowing Leah a brief moment of peace before she returned to the relentless world of grilling and frying. "Emily, you're worrying me. What is going on?" Leah persisted. The genuine concern in Leah's eyes pulled at Emily's heart. "It's nothing, really," she replied, but it was a lie that felt sharp on her tongue. "Just, family stuff." Leah shook her head. "You're taking on too much. You need to think about your future." What Emily wanted to say was, "I dream of more than this," but the fear of exposing her vulnerabilities kept her silent. After a few more moments of exaggerated tidying, an act which served no purpose other than delaying her next steps, she finally relented. "I'll be right back," she said, heart racing in anticipation of her sister's best friend. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the golden light began to fade. The air felt charged with unspoken words and hidden fears. Approaching the old oak, she spotted Sarah perched on a bench, her face expressionless. Emily hesitated. Anxiety coiled tightly within her abdomen, a familiar feeling that she often suppressed. "Hey," Sarah greeted, her tone flat, as if delivering no more than a simple duty rather than a friendship. "I wanted to update you on your sister." Emily sat beside her, bracing for the storm. "Is it bad?" With a deep breath, Sarah delivered her news, and each word crashed over Emily like a wave of anguish. Her sister's condition wasn't just serious, it hinted at life-altering repercussions that could shatter the family's already strained reality. Somber emotions bubbled forth, spilling over the edges of Emily's carefully managed facade. In that moment, every hesitation about carrying dreams of her own faded against the backdrop of this painful new truth. She felt the need to not only hold her family together but also consider what was at stake if she allowed herself to dream at all. As Sarah finished her update, Emily's mind teetered on a precipice, considering the choices laid before her. In the midst of her sister's struggle, could she still carve out a path for herself? With her heart racing faster than her thoughts, a sudden flash of determination ignited within her. Whatever came next, she wouldn't let doubt define her journey. Just as she stood to leave, a final message popped into her phone, a text from Ryan: "I need to talk to you. Can you meet me tomorrow?" The urgency behind his words pulled at her decisions yet again. Now, she faced not just family responsibilities, but a budding connection that demanded her attention in the midst of turmoil. What could he want to talk about? Would this shift her focus from what seemed to drown her in uncertainty? Her heart raced at the prospect as she gazed at the night sky, realizing the web of her decisions was tightening around her. She needed clarity, for her family and for herself. Tomorrow would mark a turning point. Would she find the courage to redefine what was possible amidst the heavy burden of her reality? The following day unfolded with a dull weight, as if the clouds themselves dimmed the vibrancy of Emily's hope. She went through the motions at the diner, but her heart thumped in anticipation of Ryan's message. Each flick of the spatula in the kitchen felt like a tick of the clock, counting down to their meeting. The image of Ryan, earnest and open, contrasted sharply with the tightening knot in her stomach. The thought of Ryan's request loomed over her, absorbing her thoughts during every mundane interaction. What if he was about to tell her something that could change everything, a confession of feelings, perhaps? Or something even deeper? A swell of excitement harmonized with anxiety, pushing her to consider what that could mean for her life. "Emily." Leah's voice broke through her reverie. "You're spaced out again. Are you okay?" "Yeah, just tired, I guess," Emily replied, forcing a smile. But it was more than fatigue, it was the realization that she couldn't afford to focus solely on her sister's condition, yet the question of whether she dared pursue her own dreams gnawed relentlessly at her. In that moment, she was confronted by the realization that to truly support her sister, she also needed to support herself. Just before closing, Leah cornered her at the counter. "You've got to get your head in the game, Emily. You can't pour from an empty cup." The weight of Leah's words settled like a stone in Emily's heart. True enough, she had been so preoccupied with family responsibilities that she had almost burned out her own ambition. What good would she be to her sister if she found herself stuck in a life she never wanted? Courage swelled within her. Perhaps a little selfishness was necessary after all. As the last customer left, Emily wiped down the counter for the last time that night, and the ritual felt heavier than usual. What would Ryan want to talk about? When Emily stepped outside, the air was thick with twilight and uncertainty. She glanced at her phone. Still no message. Each minute felt like a stretch of eternity. Finally, it was time. She arrived at the coffee shop where they had agreed to meet, the presence of warm light spilling onto the cold pavement. The sight of Ryan waiting by a table sent a rush of nerves through her. There was something about the way he held himself, a composure that exuded both confidence and vulnerability. "Hey," he said with a smile that felt almost shy. "Hi," Emily replied, her voice steadier than she felt. They settled into an easy conversation, but the underlying tension between them was palpable. It felt as though they were on the cusp of naming something that had only lingered in the air until now. "I know things have been crazy for you lately," Ryan began, fidgeting slightly with his coffee cup. "You've been really strong through everything." "Thanks, I'm just trying to keep it together. But I also had some time to think about my own path." Ryan's eyes sparked with interest. "Your post about culinary school?" "Yeah, I've considered it for a while. There's this part of me that has just wanted to break free and embrace that dream." His gaze held steady, a silent encouragement that made her fortify her resolve. "What's stopping you?" She shifted, contemplating her response, knowing that every word carried weight. "Fear, mostly. Fear of failing, of letting my family down. I feel like I need to be here for them." Ryan leaned forward, his voice low and sincere. "Sometimes the hardest decisions can lead to the most rewarding outcomes." Their conversation carried on through personal reflections and dreams, a back-and-forth rhythm where vulnerability blossomed. Suddenly, Emma noticed they were no longer speaking just as friends. The air pulsed between them with unvoiced emotion, something ripe for exploration. But just then, the ominous ping of her phone interrupted the moment. It was her sister's doctor, his name flashing ominously on the screen. Emily's heart dropped. An impending storm brewed, and her thoughts spiraled around the urgent call. "Sorry, I need to take this," Emily said, her voice a mere whisper, as she noticed Ryan's expression turn serious. As she stepped away to answer, she felt the world shift again. What awaited on the other end of the call could alter everything. Would the weight of her sister's situation pull her back into an endless cycle of obligation, or was this a pivotal moment to finally step into the light of her own dreams? The dialogue she had started with Ryan danced in her mind, just an echo now. What decisions lay ahead, and would she be ready to embrace them? As Emily stepped away from the table, her mind raced. The tension that had blossomed between her and Ryan now mingled with fear of the unknown, each emotion pulling in its own direction. "Emily, it's Dr. Hartman," the voice on the phone said before she even had a chance to say hello. It was authoritative yet gentle, piercing through her swirling thoughts. "I need you to come to the office as soon as possible." Panic surged. "Is Leah okay?" she managed to ask, clenching her fists until her nails bit into her palms. "I can't discuss details over the phone, but it's important. Can you come in?" Emily hung up feeling like she was both anchored by the weight of responsibility and adrift in uncertainty. The sudden shift in her sister's health could strip away the delicate balance she had been trying to maintain. She stole a glance at Ryan, who was watching her with concern etched across his features. She wanted to fill him in, share her burden, and yet the fear of dragging him into her chaos held her mute. "Everything okay?" he asked, rising slightly as if he would follow her. "Yeah, I just have to go. There's a family matter. Do you want me to come with you?" "I could no." The word escaped before she could fashion a softer response. Fear and urgency tangled within her, insisting that she didn't want anyone else involved, especially not someone who had just started to mean something more to her. As she stepped out into the cold night air, Emily's thoughts roiled within her. How could she act in her sister's best interest when her own desires had begun to awaken? She dashed to the nearest bus stop, her mind crammed with fragmented images of culinary school brochures she tucked into her drawer, the tantalizing aromas of meals she longed to create, and Ryan's earnest smile urging her to break free. The bus lurched forward, but her thoughts remained unreachable until she reached the doctor's office. Each step toward the door weighed heavier, a relentless reminder of the sacrifices she had borne. The dimly lit waiting room was filled with muted conversations and hushed tones, the atmosphere thick with anxiety. She couldn't afford to let their unspoken worries distract her from the bulldozer of worry barreling down on her own life. When Dr. Hartman appeared, he led Emily into his office, where the serious yet empathetic look on his face instantly gripped her heart. "Emily, I need to discuss Leah's recent test results." The words blurred, like a foreign language cascading down a waterfall. Blood tests, nutrition plans, possible treatments. Each piece he laid out felt insurmountable, yet right at the edge of his diagnosis, Emily sensed the instinctual drive rise within her, pushing against the tidal wave of despair. "Leah needs me," Emily said firmly, her voice trembling yet resolute. "But I also need to keep my own spirit alive. I can't lose sight of my dreams amidst this." The doctor nodded thoughtfully. "You're right to recognize that balance. Genuinely caring for your sister does not mean neglecting your own aspirations." The conversation sparked an illuminating realization. This moment could define everything. The dreams she had buried beneath familial obligations now slithered back into view, waiting only for her to breathe life into them. Torn between newfound courage and the reminders of past sacrifices, she faced the difficult truth: clarity over her own desires was vital, regardless of how they tangled with her sister's health. As Emily exited the office, her heart raced not only with worry but with renewed determination. The light-hearted encounter with Ryan played in her mind, nudging her even amidst the turmoil. Could there be space for both sisterhood and self-discovery? And what if this moment was not just a diversion but an awakening? How could she navigate her sister's crisis while also pursuing the culinary dream that danced on the edges of her consciousness? With each step, she could feel that the fates had entwined their paths, and there was more to explore with Ryan. She still had a conversation unfinished. As her phone buzzed in her pocket, she looked down to see a text from Ryan, asking if she was okay. All at once, the threads of her life surged with possibility. The time to choose her next step was upon her. Was she willing to embrace a journey that integrated her dreams with her responsibilities? That question lingered like a whisper in her mind as she took a deep breath and began typing her response. What awaited her next could either be a collaboration of dreams or an impossible choice to make. Emily clutched her phone tightly as she crossed the street, anticipation pulsing through her veins alongside lingering anxiety. The dark sky above mirrored her uncertainty while the flickering streetlights cast shadows that flickered like her wavering resolve. As she settled onto a bench at the bus stop, she scrolled through her messages. Ryan's text, simple yet earnest, resonated like a lighthouse amidst her tumultuous thoughts. "Are you okay?" She hesitated, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Responding felt like dropping an anchor into her swirling sea, stabilizing yet confining. Did she dare to bring him into the turmoil she felt rising within her? After a moment's deliberation, she typed back, "I'm okay but have a lot on my mind. Can we talk later?" With her heart pounding and worries eager to spill from her lips, she sent the message. The decision to reach out felt like a small victory, a first step in weaving her personal aspirations into the fabric of her responsibilities. The bus finally arrived, and Emily took a seat near the window, staring outside as familiar streets blurred past. Instead of the comforting views of her routine, she saw flashes of potential: the culinary school she had been exploring, the savory dishes she envisioned creating, and the taste of freedom that seemed just within her reach. With each pulse of the bus, her resolve hardened: she could pursue her dreams without sacrificing her sister's well-being. Emerging from the bus, the brisk air slapped her face, shocking her into clarity. Leah's condition echoed in the background, yet the belief that she could find balance felt revitalizing. Arriving home, she plunged into household chores, keeping her hands busy while her mind spiraled with possibilities. She could cook for Leah, infusing the meals with nutrition tailored to her sister's needs. As she chopped vegetables and mixed ingredients, her mind flicked back to culinary school, a place where she could cultivate her passion. What would Leah say if she knew her sister was hesitant about pursuing a dream? Emily pictured her sister's encouraging smile, always pushing her toward greatness. The phone buzzed again, and it wasn't Ryan this time. It was a message from Leah. "Hey, sis. Can I borrow the white dress for Saturday?" Emily paused, her hands frozen mid-chop. "Saturday," she whispered. A connection event for local business owners and entrepreneurs was scheduled, a stage where Leah's strengths could shine. And now, given the uncertainty surrounding Leah's health, would she even be able to attend? A mixture of dread and a sense of urgency surged within her. This would be a pivotal moment not only for Leah but also for Emily. What if this was the opportunity to step into the world she had envisioned, to meet people who might help her navigate that path? Emily suddenly saw clarity: attending the event could create synergy between them. She could gather support for Leah while simultaneously dealing with her aspirations. It was a two-pronged approach, supporting Leah while embedding herself within a community that cherished ambition. "Okay, Leah, you can borrow the dress," she typed back, her fingers moving swiftly. "But let's make a plan for us to go together." Feeling electrified by this new intention, she decided to pop by Leah's place after work instead of heading home after her shift at the diner. It would be an opportunity for more than just a supportive sisterly visit; it was a chance to talk, to discover what they both now needed. Just as she finished preparing dinner, Ryan's name flashed across her screen again. "I'm here if you want to talk. Just want to make sure you're alright." Turning her phone over, she took a deep breath. Allowing Ryan into her world felt like inviting chaos, but it also simultaneously promised connection, a notion that ignited both fear and excitement. Could he understand both the weight of her responsibilities and the layer of dreams she longed to unfold? The choice was before her: dive deeper into her personal turmoil with Ryan by her side, or tread the path alone, carrying both her sister and her aspirations. With her heart racing, she gathered her thoughts one last time. As she picked up her phone to respond, the unmistakable pull of her desires clashed with her obligations in an electrifying dance, pulling her in two directions. What awaited her was not just the potential of sharing her journey with Ryan, it was the looming question of whether there was room in her world for love amidst layers of duty. And as she hit send, her heart thrummed with the urgency of the unknown. Would she truly be able to navigate this new connection with a single dad, and how would it shape her trajectory? Emily felt a rush of adrenaline as the buzzing in her pocket pulled her back to the moment. The message from Ryan had both ignited hope and started a fire of uncertainty in her chest. She gripped the phone, trying to anchor herself amidst the chaos of her thoughts. Unexpectedly, it was Leah's upcoming event that loomed larger in her mind. This could redefine their relationship; it could also mark the cusp of her own aspirations. She had to discuss plans with Leah. Time was dwindling. The back and forth with Ryan, while intriguing, paled against this immediate urgency. Leaping into the unknown and finally pursuing her dream felt monumental, yet here lay the real challenge: balancing her ambitions with familial duties. The diner shift flew by as an automatic haze of serving and cleaning enveloped her. Customers came and went, yet Emily's mind oscillated between her culinary dreams and the vibrant warmth of her connection with Leah. By the time she clocked out, she resolved to approach the evening's conversation with Leah as not just supportive but also empowering. Her heart thumped loud in her ears as she made her way over, rehearsing every potential dialogue in her head. What would she say? Would Leah be receptive to the idea of a partnership between their evolving lives? As she entered the apartment, the familiar scent of Leah's lavender air freshener enfolded her in warmth. Leah was already seated at the table, her laptop open and documents scattered around her. She looked so intent, a fold of determination resting upon her brow. Emily cleared her throat, nervous energy making it hard to formulate her thoughts. "Hey, Leah," she said, taking a seat. "I got your message about the dress. Let's talk about Saturday." Leah looked up, a smile lighting her features. "Thanks for letting me borrow it. I can't wait. But first, how have you been? I sense something's on your mind." The openness in Leah's tone gave Emily the impetus she needed. She took a breath, ready to unspool her ideas. "I want to support you," but breath catching in her throat, "I also want to explore culinary school." Leah's enthusiasm faltered for a brief moment. "School? You haven't mentioned that in a while. What changed?" This was the moment Emily had been waiting for. "I've been thinking about it more deeply. I can manage my time. We could help each other." Leah leaned forward, the discussion taking root. "You know I believe in you, but can you really balance that with everything else? You take care of so much already." "I can," Emily declared, her voice stronger now, emboldened. "I want to create a cooking schedule for us. I'll make meals for the days you have your things, focused on your health needs. It can keep us both motivated. I can also meet contacts through your event," she concluded, feeling the pulse of anticipation coursing through her as she spoke. An enlightening silence followed. Leah studied her sister, considering the implications of Emily's plans. "You're right. We need to work as a team. With everything we have going on, I could use your help with meal prep ourselves." Relief washed over Emily as Leah finally smiled. "Let's do this together. I'll be your biggest cheerleader." Just as they began to map out their respective evenings and try to maximize each other's strengths, Emily's phone buzzed yet again. This time, it was Ryan asking if she wanted to grab coffee the next day to discuss their earlier conversation. It was a decision moment: eat into her precious time with Leah or forge ahead with the growing connection with Ryan, the man who could change everything for her. Would he even fit into the chaotic landscape she was trying to rebuild? She glanced at Leah, whose excitement was palpable. The question about balance lingered ominously, begging for resolution as she contemplated the potential impact of both relationships. What would happen if Ryan's world overlapped with hers? Would it create additional complexity, or perhaps, be a solution she hadn't envisioned? As Emily weighed her options, the undertow of her ambitions threatened to collide with her reality once more. The threads of her life were taut, and the next step promised to pull them all in different directions. And deep inside, she felt the undeniable pull of what might come next. Could she sustain connections that entwined love and duty without compromising her dreams? Emily awoke the next day to the sunlight filtering through the curtains, illuminating dust motes in the air. The warmth settled over her like a blanket, yet the uncertainties of yesterday loomed larger than her comfort. She gazed at her phone, the message from Ryan still unread. Anxiety churned within her, prompting a question: did she have the energy to weave him into this intricate tapestry she was starting to patch together? Making breakfast felt like navigating a minefield in her mind. Each chop of the vegetables, each stir of the pot, turned into a reminder of the delicate balance she needed to maintain between ambition and support for Leah. With every bite of her hastily prepared meal, Emily wrestled with the choices that lay ahead. She had made a commitment to create a schedule to help Leah, yet the allure of Ryan's proposition pulled her like a siren's song. Would a connection with him blossom into something profound, or was it simply another distraction that could lead her astray? Once she finished, she hesitated at the door. Leaving for coffee with Ryan felt monumental, another stitch or perhaps a whole patch in that tapestry. But she realized that this was about more than just coffee. It was about stepping into a realm where personal desire crossed paths with her responsibilities. Eventually, Emily forced herself to press the button to confirm their meeting, hoping the decision brought clarity rather than chaos. Leah was already away with her plans, allowing Emily the space to explore this new relationship. Yet peace was elusive as she navigated through the bustling streets, the sun shining too brightly for her mood. Was this detour away from her sister a necessary risk? Arriving at the cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wrapped around her as she stepped inside. She spotted Ryan by the window, his athletic build silhouetted against the light, deep in thought. The moment their eyes met, that familiar charge ignited. Could this be the spark she needed in her otherwise structured life? "Hey," he greeted, standing to pull out a chair for her. His grin was infectious, and for a fleeting moment, her anxiety ebbed. They exchanged small talk before he zeroed in on the underlying matter that had brought them together. "I've been thinking about your passion for cooking. I didn't want to overstep, but I can connect you with some amazing people who could help." His words held promise, and for a brief moment, Emily's aspirations sinfully battled with her guilt about Leah. "You would do that?" I want to explore more, but I'm trying to balance things at home first," she admitted, the weight of her obligations pressing heavily on her shoulders. Ryan leaned in, a knowing expression softening his features. "Balance is hard. You clearly care about your sister, but you should also give yourself the chance to pursue what drives you." His reassurance meant more than she anticipated, a glimmer of courage threatening to break through her fear of becoming overwhelmed. The conversation flowed seamlessly, revealing layers of shared ambitions and dreams. With each laugh and exchange, clarity began to seep into her mind. Could her culinary pursuits intertwine with the values and support she held so dear for her sister? Yet as they delved deeper, questions surfacing more about life, Emily caught sight of her phone buzzing on the table. She glanced at it, seeing Leah's name flash across the screen, another reminder of her waiting commitments. The table felt smaller, the walls closing in as the two worlds inevitably began to collide once more. "Are you okay?" Ryan asked, his eyes piercing through her momentary distraction. In that instant, Emily realized she had to confront what she truly wanted. Could she allow her blossoming connection with Ryan to coexist alongside the invaluable role she played in Leah's life? Determination ignited within her on the cusp of an awakening. As she weighed each side, it dawned on her that this wasn't merely a choice between two paths, it was an opportunity to forge a new one entirely, where she could support her sister while embracing new relationships. But how would she navigate the journey ahead? What sacrifices would she have to make? With a firm intensity in her heart, she prepared to answer questions that could redefine everything. The real adventure had only just begun, and the stories she held yet to unveil would challenge her like never before. Just as she cast a sideways glance at Ryan, her phone buzzed again, igniting another dilemma. This was the moment she had to face her intertwined worlds. Would she dare to unravel the complexities or retreat into her cocoon of comfort? Emily's heart raced as she stared at the buzzing phone. Leah's name blinked up at her, a reminder of the expectations that loomed like a shadow behind every decision. The warmth of the cafe began to fade, replaced by a chill of uncertainty. Would she hurt her sister by pursuing her own desires, testing the delicate thread of their bond? Taking a deep breath, she silenced her phone. Ryan watched her, an expression of understanding etched across his face. "You can always prioritize your sister," he said softly. "But don't ignore your own dreams. They matter too." She felt a pulse of rebellion against her ingrained sense of duty. The possibility of pursuing her culinary aspirations without abandoning Leah excited her, but it felt too daunting. "I didn't expect to feel this much. I thought I could compartmentalize things better," she confessed, her voice trembling slightly. Ryan nodded, leaning closer. "Compartmentalizing rarely works in the long run. You have to face both sides of your life head-on if you want to find a balance. Tell me everything you want to achieve." Somewhere deep within, something shifted. Emily began speaking of the restaurant she dreamed of opening, the flavors she longed to explore, and the memories she wished to create around food. She felt more alive with each word, and with Ryan hanging onto her every syllable, her confidence swelled. His presence was magnetic, and she found herself captivated not only by his interest but by the world he opened up for her. Yet with each wave of excitement, a sobering thought crashed down: what if she couldn't find that balance? Would she be capable of nurturing both her ambitions and responsibilities? "I can help you," Ryan said, breaking through her spiraling thoughts. "Let us devise a plan that lets you explore your culinary passion while being there for Leah. I know some chefs who offer mentorship, and there are great classes around. What if you started small, some recipes you want to try or pop-up events? It could ignite something amazing." The notion sparked something within her. "You really think that could work?" She scrutinized him, searching for sincerity. "Absolutely," he replied firmly. "You need to not only chase what you love but also integrate it into your life. You have the potential, Emily. But remember, it's not about doing it all at once. Small steps can lead to monumental changes." Emily felt a swell of hope mixed with apprehension. Could she launch herself into the unknown while supporting her sister? The image of a potential future, a bustling kitchen filled with laughter, fragrant dishes being shared, began to form in her mind. At that moment of revelation, her phone buzzed again, vibrating against the table with urgency. Emily glanced down at Leah's latest message, an invitation to join her for dinner and a hint of a problem that needed her involvement. Guilt washed over her. Was the commitment to family tugging her back just when she felt ready to leap into her own path? Ryan caught the shift in her demeanor. "You should go. It sounds important," he said gently. "Don't let my ideas overwhelm you." For a brief moment, Emily vacillated between leaving the cafe to deal with Leah's needs or embracing the opportunity Ryan presented. "I don't want to let you down or lose this momentum," she admitted, feeling the tension between her desires and obligations. "You want tea," Ryan replied, confidence warming his tone. "This is just the beginning. Take care of your sister first, we can figure this out later. You need to process everything." The clarity of his words solidified her decision. She wasn't abandoning her ambitions, she was acknowledging a vital part of her life that deserved her attention. "You're right. I'll meet with Leah and then we can talk about next steps." As she stood to leave, a blend of excitement and fear enveloped her. Ryan watched her with an encouraging smile, and her heart pounded with the realization that she was about to step into a world where she could both support Leah and chase her dreams. But the uncertainty of balancing these paths loomed large. As she left the cafe, invigorated yet anxious, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that the real challenges lay ahead. Would she truly be able to weave this new tapestry of her life, or would the threads begin to unravel? And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, sparking a mixture of warmth and shadow, her phone buzzed again with another message from Leah. This time it felt different, almost like a challenge. What deeper implications awaited her as she opened it? As Emily stepped out of the cafe, the chill in the air felt sharper than before, intensifying her internal conflict. She glanced at her phone once more, Leah's name illuminating the screen in bold letters. That nagging sensation of duty weighed heavily on her shoulders. Could pursuing her own culinary aspirations coexist harmoniously alongside her commitments to her sister? Each concurrent thought pushed her in conflicting directions. She pressed her lips together tightly. The temptation was there to linger on the prospect of what was possible with Ryan's encouragement. Still, Leah's situation tugged at her conscience like a persistent anchor. With each step towards the meeting point, visions of bustling kitchens and culinary delights danced in her mind, only to be snuffed out by the reality of family obligations. She was being pulled in two directions, but which was more crucial? The dinner turned out to be at a cozy bistro that Leah had chosen, its ambience a mix of warm lights and laughter filling the air, but that did little to ease Emily's tension. Leah's eyes lit up upon her arrival, but they quickly dimmed when she explained her predicament over a steaming plate of pasta. "I feel like I'm drowning, Em. Everything is piling up, and I don't know how to balance work and school," Leah confessed, her voice laced with anxiety rather than the usual playful banter that characterized their sisterly exchanges. As Leah spoke, Emily's heart sank. It was hard not to feel pulled into the gravity of her sister's struggle. Yet, amid wading through the murky depths of responsibility, a thought began to sprout inside her. Listening became easier as Emily considered her dreams with renewed focus. "Leah, what if I could help you? I'm not just your sister. I'm here to support you," Emily proposed, testing the waters of her newfound resolve. "What if you took a cooking class with me? Cooking is therapeutic, it could help release some of that pressure. Plus, you'd get to spend time with me." The distracted look on Leah's face morphed into one of curiosity, but uncertainty still flickered in her eyes. "Are you sure you have the time for that with everything else you're juggling?" Emily's stomach tightened at the question, but she pressed on, "I can make time. I promise I won't let things fall apart on my end. I want us to tackle this together. Just like when we were kids and made that crazy birthday cake that almost exploded. Remember?" A small smile fought its way through Leah's worries, illuminating the restaurant's dimness. Nods weaved into their conversation, and within minutes, they were discussing favorite recipes and how to tackle Leah's upcoming exams through the lens of fun culinary endeavors. But as laughter filled their table, the underlying question remained: could she really bear this additional weight while still nurturing her own dream? Would this strategy ignite the spark within her without extinguishing her sister's flame? Shortly after dinner, Emily returned home, the residual shadows of doubt darkening her path once more. Just as she sank into the comforting familiarity of her couch, her phone chimed again, this time with a message from Ryan. "Emily, just checking in. Did you have a chance to talk to Leah?" A faint warmth surged within her from his concern, momentarily pushing back her own fears. She tapped back, needing to compartmentalize this small success. "Yes. I think we might work on something together." Yet, a more unsettling thought tugged at her. This newfound balance felt tentative, as if teetering on the cusp of disaster. Had she made the right move in not prioritizing her own dreams this time? As the message continued to linger in her mind, motivating her to share, a second one popped up from Ryan, laced with promise and potential. "Let us discuss some pop-up ideas tomorrow. I believe in you." Emily stared at her phone, realizing that tomorrow was not just another day, it was another chance to redefine who she was, to intimately entwine her existence as a sister with her aspirations as a culinary artist. Yet, could she balance the fragile dynamics hanging in the air, or were cracks starting to show beneath her ambition? Caught between what she wanted and what her sister needed, Emily felt the clock ticking, pushing her to act. Tomorrow would be pivotal. The decisions she made could shape the course of not only her dreams but her relationship. With uncertainty thickening the night, Emily closed her eyes, contemplating the choices ahead, knowing she had to be ready to face whatever awaited her. As sleep beckoned, a question whispered through her thoughts: at what point would the courage to pursue her passion become more than a dream? Would she rise to meet the challenges, or would they threaten to topple everything she held dear? The morning sun streamed through Emily's window, illuminating the scattered papers and cookbooks that represented her aspirations. Today was the day of reckoning, where the strands of her responsibilities and ambitions would either intertwine or fray apart. The exhilaration coursed through her, mingling with an undercurrent of anxiety about her upcoming meeting with Ryan. They had made plans to discuss potential culinary opportunities, and it felt like a weighty significance hung over their conversation. As she settled into the diner for another shift, the regular rhythm of clinking utensils and chatter enveloped her. But the usual comfort twisted in her stomach, each order filled, reminding her of the escalating choices surrounded by the buzzing hope for a new beginning. Ryan would be waiting for her to show up, not just with deliverables, but with a newly forged determination to blend her responsibilities with her desires. Shifting gears mentally with every customer served, Emily's thoughts remained captured by the potential of culinary school and how she hoped to relight that passion within her, while still being a steadfast sister. As the day ticked by, the echo of Leah's struggles lingered. Could she truly juggle both? The prospect of losing herself in her sister's needs while desperately wanting to dream felt daunting. As closing time approached, Emily was caught off guard by a wave of urgency that swept through her. Whether it was the finality of the diner's last orders calling her attention or her own heartbeat resounding with resolve, she realized this day had to be pivotal. The conversation she hoped to have with Ryan couldn't remain buried any longer. Walking to their meeting point, the familiar butterflies emerged, but this time, they were different, imbued with a sense of clarity. She had committed to helping Leah, but she had also committed to herself. This meeting wasn't just about a connection with Ryan, it was a stepping stone toward forging her identity, one that harmonized dreams with responsibilities. Upon entering the cafe, the aroma of coffee lingered like a welcoming embrace. Ryan was already seated, his eyes lighting up as she approached. "Hey! You look determined," he remarked, a warm smile spreading across his face. "I am," she replied, taking a deep breath, embracing the moment. "I've been thinking about everything, and I want to make my culinary dreams happen. But I need a plan, something that allows me to support Leah while also pursuing my passion." "Excellent. We can work on it together," Ryan encouraged, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "What do you have in mind?" As Emily unleashed her ideas, she felt a sense of empowerment radiate from within her. She spoke of pop-up events, collaborations, and classes to refine her skills while also discussing how she aspired to weave culinary therapy into Leah's recovery. Each minute spent sharing allowed layers of her hidden ambitions to spill forth. In that conversation, Emily realized how much her past fears had restrained her. Ryan's willingness to listen and help ignited a flicker of hope that lighting both candles, one for her sister and the other for herself, was indeed possible. "Balancing both worlds sounds challenging, but I've realized that I can't sacrifice myself entirely for my sister," she articulated, a profound sense of clarity taking root. Ryan nodded, his demeanor shifting to one of sincere encouragement. "Exactly. You can route your passion to nourish not only your spirit, but Leah's as well. Establishing a cooking schedule might not just empower you, it could help Leah find joy in something reassuring." With each word, Emily found her resolve strengthening, solidifying the belief that this new chapter didn't need to be a trade-off but a combination, a tapestry woven of love and ambition alike, flourishing without overshadowing one another. Ryan's support emboldened her, and within it, a courageous light began to illuminate the path ahead. As the meeting wrapped up, Ryan nudged in an idea. "Why don't we set a timeline and work towards your first pop-up dinner? An introduction to your cooking styles?" The idea struck a resonance deep within her. In that moment, she recognized the call to action. This wasn't just about culinary excellence, it was a tangible goal that would unite her endeavors, empowering her both as a sister and an aspiring chef. "That sounds perfect. I can invite Leah to help with the meal prep, it'll empower both of us." After a brief exchange, they wrapped up their meeting with an underlying understanding: this was only the beginning. The whirling emotions calmed into anticipation. As she stepped outside into the evening air, Emily felt the weight of uncertainty lift, and for the first time, the future looked bright. The following days shifted dramatically. Emily dedicated herself to crafting menus, designing the pop-up, and preparing delicious meals infused with care for her sister's health. One evening, when Leah joined her in the kitchen to cook together, they shared not just labor, but laughter, a dance of joy awakening a forgotten camaraderie. This feels amazing. Cooking together, it's like we're in our own little world again," Leah exclaimed, joy illuminating her features as they prepped. For the first time in a long while, Emily felt a genuine exhilaration bloom. The newfound rhythm in both their lives mentioned above not only nurtured their sisterly bond, but it also propelled Emily's dreams forward. As they prepared for the pop-up dinner, their exuberance swept away the clouds of doubt. Emily's heart thrummed with excitement alongside the duty she felt towards supporting Leah. On the day of the pop-up, the preparations culminated in a colorful tapestry of flavor, embodying the journey they once thought so unyielding. The event flowed seamlessly, a melting pot of community connection and personal achievement. Each guest relished the dishes crafted with heart, dishes that celebrated their bond while ensuring the culinary aspirations Emily always cherished bloomed in unison. At the end of the night, the palpable warmth from the attendees echoed in her ears. As guests expressed their delight, Emily was met with validation. She had achieved that elusive balance she once thought impossible. Now, on the precipice of both her sister's recovery and her own self-discovery, she felt grounded. The connection that blossomed between her and Ryan had transformed into an undeniable partnership, a safe harbor that would navigate toward future possibilities that stretched infinitely. Emily had learned to embrace her passions, demonstrating resilience her sister's journey had inspired. She was not merely carrying burdens anymore, she had cultivated strength beyond limits with the courage to intertwine love and ambition into a single vibrant narrative. As the night closed, filled with gratitude and joy, Emily stood confidently, satisfied within the synergy of her life's ambitions and responsibilities. And she knew there was no turning back now. The tapestry would continue to expand, each thread rich with purpose. The journey had only just begun. This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending, we want to hear your thoughts. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share, only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the power of collective inspiration through these actions.